Joins me in studio. Thanks so much for your time. Is that 0.6% contraction expected?
It wasn't entirely expected that it would contract this deeply, but there were signs with recent data, economic data that was out, that our economy is indeed in deep trouble. So yes and no. The drought blighting those figures in agriculture was expected. The manufacturing figure contracting deeper is indicative of our general trend towards deindustrialization, and our manufacturing output has been less than impressive for quite a period of time. And I'm a bit disappointed by mining. I expected that with the increase in commodity prices on global markets, things like the platinum group metals as well as iron ore and gold, due to it being a safe haven during the trade wars, would have put more rosy complexion on our GDP figures. Okay. These figures are truly worrying, and I've begun to analyze them in the light of a certain policy paralysis that we are experiencing, a certain gridlock. And the fact that public sector spending contributed positively to these GDP figures, that they were the positive contributors in the latest figures, is an indication that that little bit of public spending that was announced in the fiscal stimulus package by the president a while ago may be taking root. Okay. But it's too little and too late.
Talk to us about what kind of fiscal stimulus or stimulus package would be enough, because there has been an announcement. Some economists have said that that's actually not a stimulus package, just a disguised way of moving money around.
Indeed, it's a worrying stimulus package in that it doesn't have the typical characteristics of stimulus packages across the world. Stimulus packages became popular in the Keynesian era after the Second World War, when Keynes and particularly in Britain and America, they decided to stimulate the economy by cheapening money and by through the state spending itself out of an economic crisis. Now, in that kind of approach to an economic downturn, returned as the world's leading economies try to recover from the 2008-2009 economic recession and downturn. Now, this week, interestingly, in Zinga, three governments across the world have announced significant stimulus packages. And those three are Chile and Hong Kong. And Chile and Hong Kong are interesting because much of their tourism and their retail has been affected by recent social unrest and protest. And the third government that we need to look at is Japan. But Japan is accustomed to these huge attempts at public spending, leading the way and stimulating the economy back to health. I think it's their third major, massive stimulus package that they've announced. And they have the world's highest debt to GDP ratio.
Mm-hmm. My point was going to be that we are not the world's third largest economy, and where would we find the money?
Well, you see, it depends on what your view on money is and what you think money is in an economy. And it also depends on whether you wish to stimulate certain sections of the economy. For example, the Chinese decided to stimulate their manufacturing sector by by cheapening money and putting their exports on sale, and that creates money. And there are many economic policy options that we perhaps have not sufficiently explored, and this lack of exploration, this lack of rigorous analysis of what's happening in other economies has led us to this economic policy paralysis. And the more we remain in this gridlock position in terms of where we would like to lead this economy to and what the vision for the economy is, the more we will see these diminishing returns, plunging output, and really higher unemployment and dismal figures.
Thanks so much for your time and On Point this afternoon. Thandeka Gqubule-Mbeki, the economics editor here at the SABC, joining me to speak about those GDP figures and possible solutions. Now, Reserve Bank